So we're doing chapter one. I think it's part two from writing systems. So which concepts are equivalent to the individual products of writing? One sec. Let me check the voice.
In writing theory, the concept that corresponds to an individual product of writing is
This is good. So in writing theory, the concept of that corresponds to an individual product of writing is text.
text. A text is the actual, concrete output of writing, a specific essay, article, poem, letter, or paragraph. It is the finished linguistic product that you can read, analyze, or interpret. So, writing the process, text the individual product, the result of that process. Example, if a student writes an essay on climate change, the process of planning, drafting, and revising equals writing. The final essay titled Causes of Climate Change equals the text, individual product. Another example, writing a poem handwriting with a pen, process. The completed poem printed on paper equals the text. Zelikaris contributed to Leonard Bloomfield's structural, Bloomfieldian, linguistic by introducing immediate constituent, IC, analysis, what it is, a method of analyzing sentence structure by dividing a sentence into its immediate parts, constituents, step by step, until reaching the smallest meaningful units. Example, sentence, the boy kicked the ball. Step 1, divide into two major parts, comma, the boy, plus, kick the ball. Step 2, break each part further, the boy, the, plus, boy, kick the ball, kicked, plus, the ball. Step 3, the ball, the, plus, ball. This shows the hierarchical structure of a sentence, not just a linear string of words. The word
Which work by Noam Chomsky is known for giving a formal structure for grammatical description, syntactic.
is syntactic structures by Noam Chomsky. Why it is important. In this book, Chomsky introduced a formal model of grammar using rules to generate sentences. He proposed that grammar should be explicit and rule-based. Generate all grammatical sentences. Exclude ungrammatical ones. This became a foundation of generative grammar. Example, phrase structure rule. SNP plus VP. NPD plus N. VPD plus NP. Using these rules, capital S, NP plus VP. The boy plus kick the ball. The grammar generates the sentence through formal rules. Ungrammatical example, boy the kicked order. The rules do not generate this order, so it is excluded. Thus, syntactic structures provided a formal structural framework for grammatical description. The
term used to refer to historical linguistics before the 20th century, according to the passage, is comparative linguistics.
Used with comparative linguistics. Explanation. Before the 20th century, what we now call historical linguistics was mainly known as comparative linguistics because scholars focused on comparing languages to discover their historical relationships and common origins. Example, by comparing Sanskrit pater, Latin pater, English father, linguists show that these languages belong to the same family, Indo-European. So, the study of language history through systematic comparison was called comparative linguistics. After Ferdinand de Saussure, the term philology gradually became interchangeable with linguistics in many contexts. Explanation. Earlier, philology mainly referred to the historical and textual study of languages, but after Saussure's influence, the scientific study of language, linguistics, expanded, and in some traditions the two terms were used almost synonymously. Example, a scholar studying Old English sound changes could be called a philologist or a linguist. In such contexts, both terms refer to the scientific study of language structure and history. Grapheme. A grapheme is the smallest distinctive unit in a writing system, equivalent to a phoneme in speech. Just as a phoneme distinguishes meaning in spoken language, a grapheme distinguishes meaning in written language. Example, bat versus cat. The difference between B and C, two graphemes, changes meaning. So, phoneme smallest contrastive sound unit, grapheme smallest contrastive written unit, allograph. An allograph is a variant form of the same grapheme, like an allophone of a phoneme. Different shapes, same grapheme, no change in meaning. Example, capital A and smaller, printed or in handwritten. These look different but represent the same grapheme. Grapheme. A grapheme is the smallest individual unit in a writing system used to represent elements expressible in a language. It corresponds to meaningful distinctions in writing. Example, in pen versus 10, the change from P to T, two graphemes, changes meaning. So, a grapheme is the basic written unit required to represent language. False, because the term philology was used long before the 20th century, not only after it. Even in the 19th century, scholars studying language history and texts were called philologists. Example, in the 1800s,
So the term philology was only used for historical linguistics after the 20th century. Philology and historical linguistics came to be, considered identical only after the 20th century. That is false because it was being practiced even before.
was comparing Sanskrit, Greek, and Latin to trace language families were practicing philology, what we now call historical linguistics. So, the term did not start after the 20th century, it was already in use earlier. Malayalam primarily belongs to an alpha syllabary, also called an abugida. Explanation. In an alpha syllabary, each basic symbol represents a consonant with an inherent vowel, and other vowels are shown using diacritics. Example, in Malayalam, comma, equals ka, consonant plus inherent vowel, comma, equals ki, same consonant plus vowel marker for I, comma, equals ku, same consonant plus vowel marker for you. So, Malayalam script is not a pure alphabet, it is an alpha syllabary. The Japanese scripts that are primarily syllabic are hiragana and katakana, together called kana. Explanation. They are syllabic because each symbol represents a syllable. error, not a single consonant or vowel. Example, in hiragana, comma, equals car, comma, equals key. In katakana, comma, equals car, comma, equals key. Each character represents one syllable sound, so both scripts are syllabaries. The distinction was introduced by Ferdinand de Saussure. Lung, the abstract, systematic knowledge of a language shared by a speech community. Rules, grammar, structure. Example, the rule in English that sentences usually follow subject plus verb plus object is part of lung. Parole, the actual use of language in real-life speech or writing by individuals. Example, the boy ate mango. A specific sentence someone utters is parole. So, lung equals system, parole equals individual use of that system. The distinction between dyadic and triadic signs in semiotics is associated with Charles Sanders' Peirce triadic model. The dyadic model is linked to Ferdinand de Saussure. Keycap 1, dyadic sign.
Which linguist proposed distinction with dyadic and triadic signs in Charles Sanders Peirce? Dyadic signifier signified, triadic icon index symbol. Um, Dyadic sign was proposed by Ferdinand de Saussure, and triadic sign by Charles Sanders Peirce. Now let's see what it has to say.
Saussure. A sign has two parts. Signifier the form, sound slash image. Signify the concept, meaning. Example, word, tree, sound, tree slash equals signifier. Mental concept of a tree equals signified. Backhand index finger pointing right. Meaning comes from the relationship between these two. Keycap 2. Triadic sign Peirce. A sign has three parts. Representamen, the form of the sign. Object, what it refers to. Interpretant, the understanding in the mind. Peirce also classified signs into. Icon resembles the object. Example, a photograph of a person. Index directly connected to the object. Example, smoke fire. Symbol arbitrary slash conventional. Example, word tree. Right pointing magnifying glass. Main difference. Dyadic, Saussure, two-part mental model. Form plus concept. Triadic Peirce three-part model including interpretation and types of signs. So, Peirce's model explains how meaning is interpreted, not just the relation between form and concept. Cheriem is the basic distinctive unit in sign language, equivalent to a phoneme in spoken language. Explanation. Just as phonemes are the smallest contrastive sound units, cherems are the smallest contrastive units of hand shape, movement, or location in sign language. They do not carry meaning alone but distinguish meaning. Example, in American Sign Language, if two signs differ only in hand shape but have the same movement and location, the hand shape difference functions like a phoneme difference in speech. So, phoneme smallest contrastive sound unit, cheriem smallest contrastive sign unit.